Mike Francesa here on the Rich Eisen Show. Your 30 for 30, or the one that 30 for 30 about you and Chris Russo, is exactly that. I mean, I'm wondering what you thought of the final piece here, Mike.
I liked it. First of all, the guy that did it, I trusted him. Danny Fora, whose hands are all over it, is a very gifted guy. I've known him for 30 years. I worked with him in the 80s at CBS. He was my college football producer. He went on to do a lot of different stuff. He was always a great long feature producer. He had a great reputation for that. So I knew Danny's very artistic. He was always an artsy, craftsy kind of sports guy. So I thought from that standpoint, the thing was in very good hands. There was so much to work from because we had such an incredible amount of content when you're on, 20 years, 5 days a week, 46 weeks, 5.5 hours a day. There's an incredible amount of content to deal with. So he could have picked and choose, but he did get down to two things they really wanted him to do, which was the relationship and the tempestuous nature of the relationship, and also the impact we had on the industry, which is real. And one I trace, and you'd understand this very well, it started with us, and we created the two-man team in radio. And then we created these debate kind of opinion shows, list shows. Basically, Pardon the Interruption came from us, and everything else came from the template of Pardon the Interruption. And that's really where everything has gone. And it did all start with us, and then it went through Tony and what they did with that show. And it really went to the next generation. But that's really what it did. And also it created a viability for the AM dial. The AM dial was dying. So sports talk radio created very much a format that the AM dial could live with. And there's now like 1,500 all sports stations in the country.
Right. And when you're talking about you and Mad Dog and Tony and Wilbon on Pardon the Interruption, you're talking about two tandems, however, who know each other, and the interaction between them genuine. But a lot of these debate shows, though, Mike, seem sometimes contrived and some of these
homogenized.
Well, what do you think about that?
No, I don't like that, and I think that hurts them dramatically. There was nothing contrived about what we did. And the thing that people didn't grasp, or maybe they do now, was we were always two individual performers who preferred to be individuals, who were thrown together, but then realized that we had a great chemistry and a great ability to work together, even though we were always trying to burst out at the seams and work by ourselves. So we did things differently than most successful teams. Successful teams vacation together. We never did. We each did the show apart for long periods of time when the other was on vacation. We each had our own show Saturday and Sunday morning for 30 years. So we always performed individually and always brought an individual energy and an individual cockiness to the show. So there was always this challenge where it was almost like who was the fastest gun at all times, and always that was always the edginess that made Mike and the Mad Dog different, I think, because we were never just two guys who always worked together. We were two guys who were always trying to challenge each other.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that, download our app. Please, just if it's a memory thing, just delete other apps. You don't need those apps. This app, the Rich Eisen Show app, you need that.